Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Satchidananda Rupaya Vishvotpathyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha. समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Hari Om, salutations to all. Welcome back to the Bhagavatam Satsangs. So we were on the fifth canto and we saw the glorious life of Rishabh Dev Ji, then Bharat Raja, then the dialogue that was there between Bharat Raja and Rahugana. That was up to chapter 14. Then we saw the descendants of King Priyavrata. So Uttanapad and Priyavrata. So Uttanapada's descendants, we saw Dhruv Maharaj and then his whole story and his lineage. Then we see Priyavrata. So in the 15th chapter that we did, we saw the dynasty of Priyavrat Maharaj. And in that lineage comes the great king Gaya, and his activities and his glorious qualities, they were described, and that's where that particular topic ended. Then we see that when in the beginning of this fifth canto about Priyavrat Raja, it was told that with his chariot he created, the 7 islands and on the Bhumandal. So Parikshit Raja is inquiring about this Jambudvipa, one of the dvipas of the 7 which were created. And so that's what we had started, that 16th chapter in the 5th canto. So we will start from there because we had stopped, just covered a little bit only of that. So here Parikshit Maharaj, he is asking Shukdev ji that you have spoken about Bhumandal, which extends as far as the sun shines and as far as the moons and the stars can be seen. So the wheels of Priyavrata's chariot created 7 islands in this Bhumandal, 7 ditches actually, and those became 7 oceans, and then so further 7 islands. Now he says that I desire to know the measurements and qualities of those oceans and islands. Now why does he want to know? So he says that this form, external form of Bhagavan, the whole universe is a form of Bhagavan. And so this gross universal form of Bhagavan, which is made up of the 3 gunas, when one contemplates on that, with that bhav that this is appearance of the Lord and Bhagavan himself is beyond all the 3 gunas, so it will increase the Shraddha, it will increase the Bhakti, and one will see the Lord within when one has withdrawn, as well as see the Lord outside. And so he is not asking just to know some geographical location, etc. He is a devotee. 7 days he is going to drop his body. Why is he interested to know which island is how long and how deep and how tall? No, does not make any sense at all. So the description is being asked for seeing the divinity and to understand what this whole Bhumandala is about. And so Shukdev ji starts description. Now see, this description will not match necessarily everything that is there or that is known to us on the earth today. We are talking about different yuga and so many tectonic changes and this and that keep happening in the cycle of creation. So it's not necessary that each description here has to match. A certain description has been given here. Sometimes we don't even know whether that description is of this cycle of creation. Because in Bhagavatam there are different stories from different cycles of creation, different manvantaras, different yugas. It is not one sequential story. Ramayana is a sequential story, one after the other in the same time. And there also Valmiki Ramayana is like that. If you see some other versions of Ramayana, there are certain different kalpas and what has happened in those also will be described. And so don't get confused saying where is this today? May or may not be there today. Some parts may be there, some may not be there. The general description is given and one can also appreciate this fact that how a great dispassionate sage like Shukdev ji also is able to answer with such precision. This is here, this is there, which shows that the power of their intuition is very strong, and the mind which has that level of purity is able to understand many things about the universe. So here, Bhagavan Shukdev ji, he starts by explaining that this entire creation of Bhagavan is not possible for anybody to fathom. So nobody can understand the end of the Lord's material energy. Bhagavato Maya Guna Vibhutehe. So that's the fourth one where he starts replying. This is in prose, so it's not in poetry. So it's the fourth Rishiru Vacha, in that the fourth line, where he says very clearly that Navai Maharaja Bhagavato Maya Guna Vibhutehe Kashtham Manasa Vachasa Va Adhigantum Alam. One can't fathom through one's Manasa Vacha Kashtham. So body, mind, intellect, speech, through none of these one can fathom the energy or the prakriti, the power of Bhagwan's creation. And even in a lifetime of Brahmaji, meaning 100 years of Brahmaji, such a huge span of lifetime, one day of Brahmaji is this 43 lakh 20,000 years. Like that, one night, like that, 1 year, 360, like that, 100 years. Such a huge lifespan, also, if one tries to understand, one can't understand the glory of Bhagwan's Srishti. So he says, even then, I will try to describe some main things like the Bhumandala with their names, forms, measurements, characteristics, and all that. And so uh, he says that only a few salient features. Now he says, as far as this Bhumandala, which we inhabit, it represents the innermost of the 7 sheets of the lotus-like terrestrial globe with a diameter of 1 lakh yojanas. See, which is 8 lakh miles. Is the innermost of the example given here is it is innermost of the 7 sheets of the lotus like terrestrial globe. So how that lotus has a, I think the center and then there are petals all around it. So like that, the innermost of the seven sheets of lotus like terrestrial globe. Now this diameter is 8 lakh miles and round in shape like the corolla of a lotus. In this Dvipa are 9 varshas, so 9 places, subdivisions. Island is Dvipa, Varsha is a subdivision of a Dvipa. So each 9,000 yojanas, 72,000 miles, clearly divided by 8 mountain ranges which form their boundaries. In the middle of these continents stands the inner Varsha called Ilavrata, at the center of which is situated the Mount Meru, entirely consisting of gold, possessing a height equal to the extent of the Dvipa, that is 1 lakh yojana. So how long is the Dvipa? That long is this Meru, made entirely of gold. Now if you say, where is this gold mountain full? That's why I'm saying this, we may not be able to find today. This description may be of some other yuga or of some other point in time in this creation. So um, here there is a picture in this book. You know, ISKCON brought out some nice books. I'm going to share some pictures from here. Just as a visual representation, what has been shown, at least one will understand, you know, okay, this is what it is. um, so here you will see. So this is Jambudvipa, arrow mark is here. This is a saltwater ocean. These are the 9 places. Kuru Varsha, Hiranmaya Varsha, Ramyaka Varsha, Ilavrata Varsha, Ketumala Varsha, Hari Varsha, Bhadrashva Varsha, Kim Purusha Varsha and Bharat Varsha. These brown lines, these are the mountain ranges. 3 here, 3 here and 1 here and 1 here. So 8 mountain ranges. So that's what he says here, that there are 8 mountain ranges. In the middle of this continent stands the inner Varsha called Ilavrata. So this center one is the Ilavrata Varsha. These 3 are here, these 3 are here, this is Bhadrashva, this is Ketumala, this center one is the Ilavrata Varsha, and in that is the Sumeru mountain. And this is how the division has been given here, you see, on this side. This square in the center is the Ilavrata Varsha. In that, this is the Meru. This whole circle is the Meru. In that Meru, there are these different other divisions that will come now. And so, it forms the pericap of the lotus-like terrestrial globe and has a diameter of 32,000 yojanas, 256,000 miles at the top, and only 16,000 yojanas 128,000 miles at the foot. So the Meru is like this. It's not one straight column, cylindrical. Diameter at the top is bigger and at the base it is half. So 256,000 and then 128 at the foot, with its root lying under the earth's surface to the depth of 16,000 yojanas. That is to say that the mountain is only 84,000 yojanas high above the earth. After 84,000 up to 128, it is below the earth. So that is the next picture, if you see actually. So it is like this. So Sumeru mountain is like this. Big on top, 128,000 yojanas, and then it comes down and it goes below the earth also, like this. So this is Bhumandala, this is below the earth. And so Gangaji is on top of Sumeru, that will come in the next chapter. So this is the description given here. Now to the north of Ilavrata are situated one after the other the 3 mountain ranges called Nila, Shweta and Shringavan. They are forming the boundaries of the Varshas bearing the name Ramyaka, Hiranmaya and Kuru. That's what we saw. These 3 mountain ranges are given here. Then bearing the name Ramneke Hiranmaya and Kuru and extending east and west as far as the salt ocean, each 2000 yojanas wide, and every exterior range being shorter in length alone by a little over 1/10 of the next interior range, but equal in height and breadth. Same way, to the south of Ilavarta, extending from the east to west, 3 mountain ranges called, so this is the Nishadha, Hemakuta and Himalaya, each possessing a height of 10,000 yojanas and severally marking the boundaries of Harivarsha, Kimpurusha Varsha and Bharatvarsha. So Harivarsha, Kimpurusha Varsha and Bharatvarsha. So many people who try to match it with this, what is in the today's situation, they will say this Bharatvarsha, Himalayas, beyond that is this, beyond this Sumeru. So in Tibet is the Sumeru, so they consider Kailas as the Sumeru. They may have some logic, I am not aware of that, but I've heard some people say that Mount Meru, Sumeru is Kailas and Gangaji flows from that. So people think that's the source and Shivji stays there. So then the east and west of Ilavrata stand Malyavan and Gandhamadana respectively. This is Malyavan, this is Gandhamadan. Some of these, when we hear the words, then we remember, okay, Gandhamadan Parvat. So Hanumanji had gone to Gandhamadan. So severally extending as far as the Nila mountain and Nishadha mountain, and covering a breadth of 2000 yojana, 16,000 miles each. They mark the boundaries of Varsha called Ketumala and Bhadrashva. So this Ilavrata is in between. All the other boundaries are all mountains of different regions. Now, on these 4 mountains stand 4 big trees of mango, jambu, that is rose apple, kadamba and banyan, looking like their flags, each possessing a height of 1,100 yojanas. Look at that. The tree is a height of 8,800 miles and a diameter of 100 yojanas, 800 miles at its trunk, and the branches extending within a diameter equal to its height. Besides these trees, there are 4 lakes of milk, honey, sugarcane juice, and fresh water. You see these, each of them, they will have lakes. These 4 trees they have shown here, and besides them, you see some little blue color thing. So there is a lake. Then there are also 4 celestial gardens called Nandana, Chaitra Ratha, Vaibhrajaka, and Sarvato Bhadra. In these gardens, the foremost of gods, leading a bevy of most charming celestial beauties with them, carry on their sports, their glories being sung by hosts of demigods. Now, there were times when the Devatas have also come on the earth. From Devaloka, they come, they live here on the Bhumandal. Even today, many people say that, those who have gone to Kailas, etc., they feel that there are these divine lights that they see early in the morning, Brahma Muhurat time, or even little before that, they come down into the Manasarovar and then they go back. So this description is there that Devatas and Apsaras, etc., used to sport there. Then from the top of the celestial mango tree, 1100 yojanas high, standing on the bosom of Mount Mandar, drop down fruits as colossal as a mountain peak and luscious as nectar. A river, Arunoda, having literally red water, so Arunoda, by name, so called because of its carrying as water the most delicious, fragrant, and highly perfumed, abundant, and scarlet juice of the fruits bursting open. When these fruits fall, juice is flowing like a river. Such big fruits, it seems. Flows from the summit of Mount Mandara and irrigates the eastern part of Ilavrata. The breeze perfumed by the contact of Yaksha ladies, forming the retinue of goddess Parvati, surcharges with fragrance the whole area as far as 80 miles. Because they come and they drink this water of that river there. Now, similarly, a river Jambu by name, emanating from the juice of rose apples of the size of elephants and having very small seeds, burst open as a result of their fall from high level from the summit of Mount Meru Mandara, 10,000 yojanas high, on the earth, and the waters the whole of southern part of Ilavrata. So each part is irrigated by some of the fruits of these four trees. So you will see that description also is given. The clay on the both banks of the river getting saturated all over with that juice and undergoing a chemical change under the joint action of the wind and the sun is transmuted into gold, known by the name of Jambunada, Jambunada, which ever serves to adorn the immortals, the Devatas. Indeed, as the tradition unmistakably points out, the gods and the other heavenly beings, such as Gandharvas, wear this in the shape of all different bangles and girdles and other ornaments. So this description goes on. If you read this whole chapter, you will have a lot of this description that is given. I'm just going to share here what is shown pictographically so it becomes easy to understand. So this is Mount Sumeru. These are the 9 Varshas, and these are the mountain ranges, and this the trees which are there and the lake which is there, all that which is given. So now they have given all the dimensions also here. Then specifically, if we go deeper into this description, what we just read, no? So this Mount Meru Mandara, Chitraratha garden, the honey lake is Jambu tree, rose apple tree, and the fruit of that falls down, and then this is the river that flows. Same way here. Each of them you will see Mount Kumuda, then Shatavalsha tree, Shatavalsa tree, banyan tree, and then pure water lake, then Sarvato Bhadra garden, and this is that which irrigates milk, that river that supply milk, yogurt, etc. This Arunoda river is this. Nandana garden, milk lake, Devachyuta tree, mango tree. So this is the description given in this whole chapter. Same way this here. This is Mount Suparshva. So Mahakadamba tree, sugarcane juice lake, Vaibhrajaka garden, and the honey rivers. And these are the 4 other mountain ranges which are covering this Ilavrata: Mount Nila, Gandhamadana, Nishada and Malyavan. So what is the idea? We have to see that this whole creation is divine. That's the main purpose. Now, what is which, how much feet and all that, why do we have to bother so much about it? As of now, that much is enough. So this is a tabular column description of this whole thing. Very nicely they have documented it. So which is the direction? So in the east direction is a Mandara, which is a lake, milk lake, garden Nandana, tree mango, river mango juice, Arunoda river. And by drinking its water, the bodies of Yaksha's wives become fragrant and it perfumes the atmosphere. Same way, south side, honey, Chaitraratha, rose apple tree, Jambunada, rose apple juice mixed with mud, dried by air and sunshine, produces gold called Jambunada, from where they make the ornaments. Like that, they've given the other descriptions. Of sugarcane juice is there on the west side, Vaibhrajaka is the garden, Kadamba and Mahakadamba are the tree, honey is the river. 5 rivers of honey from the tree hollows saturate the land with a pleasing fragrance. Then north is pure water lake, Sarvato Bhadra is the garden, Banyan, Shatavalsha, supplies milk, yogurt, etc. Many rivers from the tree's roots supply necessities as desired by the residents. So some of these are fruits, the rivers from the fruit, some from the tree hollows, some from the tree roots. Now what happens? The common characteristics of these are devatas enjoy in these lakes. They enjoy with their wives and their lesser demigods glorify them. Their height, width and radius is given. Those who enjoy the products of these flowing rivers live very happily without anxieties until death. Now this chapter, this much has been given, and this is the Jambudvipa. So when we say, if you see in the Sankalpa, when we take Shubhe Shobhane Muhurate Adya Brahmanaha Dvitiya Parardhe, this Brahmaji second half of his life, his second half, so after 50. So this is the 51st year of Brahmaji. In that Shvetavaraha Kalpe, Vaivasvata Manvantare, Kali Yuge, Prathame Pade, in the first part of Kali Yuga we are, first quarter. Prathame Pade, Jambudvipe, Bharatavarshe, Bharatakhande, Meroho Dakshine Parshve, south of the Meru. So this is what is the description coming from. If you see this south of the Meru, Meroho Dakshine Parshve, Bharatavarshe, Bharatakhande, Meroho Dakshine Parshve, like that the whole Sankalpa will go. It is based on this. And so this is the positioning we have. So as I said, this is the description which the Bhagavatam gives. Some of these if someone has explored and found out, some of these may exist, maybe with different names. These are descriptions given of a different era. So these are the names. And so here now comes the description of, after this, the description of the Meru itself. What is on the top of the Meru? So the top of the Meru is this. This is the top. So there are actually, if you see, 20 mountains beautifully arranged around the foot of Sumeru like the filaments around the whole of a lotus flower. Their names are Kuranga, Kurara, Kushambha, Vaikantha, Vaikanka, Trikuta, Shishira, Patanga, Ruchaka, Nishadha, Sinivasa, Kapila, Shankha, Vaidurya, Jarudhi, Hamsa, Rishabha, Naga, Kalanjara and Narada. These mountains are called the Kesarachala mountains. Now these are at the base of Mount Meru. And then another 8 mountains, they surround the Meru. In the east, Jatara and Devakuta, west, Pavana and Pariyatra, south, Kailasa and Karavira, and north, Trishringa and Makara. So now see here in the Bhagavatam, it very clearly says the south of Mount Sumeru is Kailasa. So Kailas is not equal to Meru as per this Bhagavatam. If there are some other description that I am not aware of. And the dimensions of these 8 mountains that surround Sumeru are 18, given here, 18,000 yojanas, so 1,44,000 miles, and possessing a height and width of 2,000 yojanas, which is 16,000 miles. Now, the Mount Sumeru is made of solid gold and shines brilliantly as fire, surrounded by these 8 mountains. On the top of this mountain is this. So you will see in the center the townships. These are all townships. So Brahmapuri, Shata, Kaumbhi or Manovati, this is in the center. This is the biggest one. made entirely of gold. It lies in the center of Sumeru summit and extends for many yojanas on its four sides. So it will be on all the four sides, it will extend from the center. Then there are 8 other townships of the Lokapalas. 8 Lokapalas who are the governors of 8 directions. Surround Brahmapuri. They are similar to Brahmapuri but are 1/4 in size. The Lokapalas starting from the east are Indra, Agni, Yama, Nriti, Varuna, Vayu, Kuvera and Shiva. Their cities are named Amravati, Tejovati, Samyamani, uh, Krishnangana, Shraddhavati, Gandhavati, Mahodaya and Yashovati. Now these are 8. Now this description ends here of in this particular chapter in 16th chapter. Again, the bhav is to appreciate that how this much of detailing and height and width and what is where, etc., is known by Shukdev ji. He is a Param Vairagi. He is not interested in the world. As soon as he was born, he too he walked out. But he is aware that this is there in the creation. And so when Parikshit Maharaj asked the question, he replied saying, okay, this is how it is. And the bhav also is that one sees the expression of the divine everywhere, that how glorious is this creation and how grand is the creation, then how glorious must be the creator. And you will see each of these then how they will connect it to the divine. So the Mount Sumeru is supposed to be the source of Gangaji. And Gangaji flows from the feet of Bhagavan. So the whole bhavana is bhakti. We should not forget that. Otherwise we will get into the the historicity of this, or how true is this, and do these places exist today? Maybe some of them exist, maybe some of them are they got destroyed, or maybe their names got changed. So many things happen over a period of time. So the more important aspect is to see the bhavna, that creation is so wonderful and mind boggling, and what all possibilities are there in creation. We, with our human intellect, we think in terms of only what we know is so limited, or what we can even visualize for future and we can make with the capacities Bhagwan blessed us with buddhi can be used, and so many fantastic things humans have developed by this buddhi. Still, in front of creation, in front of nature, it is hardly anything. Nature is so vast and glorious, and it is all the divine Shakti of Bhagwan. So to see that, appreciate that is the main purpose here. So that 16th chapter ended by this description of this Jambudvipa, and in that there are these 9 varshas, and then in that you will see the whole, how they say, from today they show from vast galaxies, and if you come to Earth, there's so much of zooming in that has to be done. Earth is such a small, one little planet. In that, so many continents, on that we are living. But if we actually zoom out and see, Earth is one part of one solar system. There are so many such solar systems which are there in one arc of this Milky Way galaxy, which is a part of this Andromeda galaxy, which is a part of this creation, and millions of such galaxies are there, and it goes on. This whole creation is infinite. And so, from how we come out from those infinite and zoom in, this is zooming in. So here you will see now, 17th chapter, it says that Gangaji's description, descent is given here. When Lord Vamana, Bhagwan Vamana, when he took avatar, he with one foot Bhagwan covered this earth, with other foot he covered the higher worlds. At that time, Brahmaji took a pot of water and washed his feet. And so it is said that Vaman Dev extended his left foot and pierced the universal covering. The pure water of the causal oceans entered the universe as the river Ganga. So Akasha Ganga, when we say, and then Bhagirath did the Prayatna, and then he brought in We brought the Gangaji from Akasha to the earth. Some people give an equivalent also, saying there are atmospheric rivers which are there, which remain in the atmosphere at a certain height, and then they fall based on whatever principles of condensation and all that. So the rivers also fall. So the atmospheric rivers which are there, and that is one possible way of explaining how people in the earlier tradition in our culture, they say Akash Ganga, then the Ganga that flows on the earth, and then the Patala Ganga. So Ganga is there on all the three realms, in all the three realms, but from the terrestrial flow, it was brought on the earth and then it went into the nether worlds by the prayatna of Bhagiratha. So that is one explanation. Here you see the explanation, and there it comes, so in this Bhagavatam only it came, Sagar Raja, etc. It came. A hint was there. So like that, there it is the Lord who holds in his jata, etc. Here you see something unique is being explained. So Gangaji's descent, how it is explained, you see here, that the causal oceans entered the universe as river Ganga. Touching the water of Ganga purifies every living being. All the sins and everything, material uh, negativities that one has, material contamination, everything gets um, purified when one takes a dip in the Ganga. Why? Because it has connection to the lotus feet of Bhagwan, and it has come from the very source. What are the other names of Gangaji? So the names which are given are Vishnupada. So Vishnupadi, Bhagavatpadi, Janhavi, and Bhagirathi. These are different names of Gangaji. See, so little more description is given here that when Bhagwan lifted his foot, Trivikrama form that he took as a Vamana, when he with 3 steps he has to cover the whole universe. So in that, when he lifted his left foot, then what happened? This whole universe is like a cosmic egg. That's why it is called Anda, Hiranya Garbha, or golden egg. So here it says the upper shell of the cosmic egg was pierced as a result of Bhagwan lifting his leg, and the nail of his left big toe creates that breach, and so the water. So he says here that a stream from the immaterial waters which was existing outside this, that's what is the causal ocean. From there it comes into this loka, and that's why it is called as Vishnupadi. So from there it flows into Dhruva Loka first. From Dhruva Loka into the Saptarishi Mandal. From there it comes down to the moon, and from moon to the Meru, and from Meru, Sumeru to the earth, or the other aspects of the earth. So that's the descent given here. After a very long period of time, covering 1,000 revolutions of the 4 yugas, it took for Ganga to come from the causal oceans to this Dhruva Loka. Now, while washing the feet of the Lord, it got colored by its red pollen like dust, and thus acquired the virtue of wiping out by its very touch the dirt of sins of the whole world, while she herself remains untouched by the sins, and was expressly and directly called Bhagavatpadi, to the exclusion of other names. So Jahnavi, Bhagirathi, suggesting the other later and less monumentous association. So these names came later. in the Dhruva Loka, what did Lord Dhruva do? So, Lord Dhruva, what did Dhruva do? As he was a great bhakta of the Lord. He was steadfast in his devotion. He sprinkles on his head, even to this day, the holy Bhagavat Padi with supreme reverence, remembering that it has washed the lotus foot of his family deity. So, which means that Gangaji continues to flow from the causal ocean to Dhruva Loka, and Dhruji takes an everyday sprinkles on his head. See, these are all bhava and the bhakti. We should remember that. We should not start logically thinking how it will happen. From subtle to gross is the creation always. Causal, subtle, gross. Creation will flow in that direction only. Just give me a minute. Somebody is at the door. So the creation will be from the causal to the subtle to the gross always. So the causal state is a seed state. From there it will come to subtler form, which we say thoughts and ideas and all that, and then action level externally it will manifest. So same way you will see here, from the causal state it comes into this realm. In this realm, subtler states are Dhruvaloka, Saptarishi Mandal, etc. So Dhruva Loka, the water flows. And the bhav is that if a devotee like Dhruji is every day sanctifying himself with this attitude that this has flown, this water has, come from the feet of Bhagavan himself. See that purity of his mind, his devotion. And the thing is, he doesn't have to purify himself. He is reveling in the name of the Lord, and Bhagavan himself gave him darshan and all that. His life we saw a glorious life. Even in Dhruva Loka, he does every day. That's what he says here, that every day he was steadfast in devotion, sprinkles on his head, even to this day, the water of the holy Bhagavat Padi with supreme reverence. And remembering that this has washed the lotus feet of my family deity, which is the Lord himself, his heart deeply saturated with an incessant flow of constantly growing devotion, with tears of pure love escaping from his eyes, resembling a pair of lotus buds, half closed in a fit of self forgetfulness, induced by an ardent longing for the Lord, and the hair on his body standing on their end. This is the bhakti. So, when we go to Gangaji, when we do Ganga Snan, we should remember this, that Dhruji himself is doing that. And don't get into this is merely water, H2O, flowing from this particular mountain. Source of this we are aware of. We can only see the gross source, that is the tangible, visible thing which our senses are seeing. But that is always having a source in the subtle, subtle is having the source in the causal, and causal is having the source in the Supreme Lord. So anyway, it has come from Bhagavan. So why one should have any, doubts about it? If you read Tapon Maharaj's Wandering in the Himalayas, he says so beautifully about Gangaji. I'm just going to read that. So this is, see, we should remember Tapon Maharaj is not a, he is a great intellectual, he is a Jnana Margi, and yet a very great devotee of the Lord also. And so, what does he say about Gangaji, you see? He says, um, This is going to be a little long, but I am still going to read so that we understand. The Puranas tell of the origin of the Ganga. Bhagirath, emperor of Bharatvarsha, performed penance for thousands of years in order to bring the sacred river from the world of gods to the world of men. Many take this story merely as an allegory. There are others who take it as literal truth. If worldly wise men skilled in the art of reasoning refuse to accept it as literal truth, we can hardly blame them. It is certainly too much to expect everyone to swallow Puranic stories, especially when they do not agree with experience and reason. None of our great teachers of the past has enjoined on us such blind obedience. Many modern scholars say that such stories are intended chiefly to enhance our faith in the holiness of the Ganga. Men of the old way of thinking refute this view with all their might. In spite of these differences between them, they agree that Bhagirath had something to do with the Ganga and that he had performed a long penance in relation to her. It is when the scholars leave this common ground and descend to a consideration of details that the gap between them becomes unbridgeable. Now he says, I do not intend to tread upon those dangerous grounds. Indeed, criticism is like a boundless sea. Once you get into it, you can hardly get out of it. O Mother Ganga, I am your worshipper and not your critic. I respect you as my supreme goddess. These are Tapon Maharaj's words. I love and worship you as my mother. To me, it is all the same whether you were created by Brahma at the time of creation or by Bhagiratha later on. It matters little whether you originated at the foot of Vishnu or flow through the matted hair of Shankara or gush up at the foot of some Himalayan peak and make your way through glaciers. Can a son, loyal to his mother, criticize her? May my devotion to Mother Ganga go on ever increasing. May the holy Ganga continue her mission of mercy. This is wandering in the Himalayas. So this is the bhav. That is what will purify us. If we don't have that bhav, then like Gurudev said, Ganga is merely water. A buffalo also takes bath in the Ganga. You and I can also take bath in the Ganga. Nothing more will happen except some physical dirt will get cleaned. But the mind will be purified, and what it says here, that the sins are wiped out by the touch of the Ganga. Is when bhakti arises in the heart, all the sins are caused by selfishness, pettiness, ego, attachment, ignorance. Gangaji represents that flow of knowledge, flow of devotion, flow of seva. If that comes into our life, everything will be cleansed. And with that bhav, we go to Ganga, do the Ganga Snan. And when people say that, Ganga Snan will liberate us from all the sins, is when we have this bhav. Otherwise, it is not like we go there, whatever sins we have done, go there, take a dip, come out of it, and then we are fresh slate, we can again do all new sins. That is not the whole objective. Objective is to have devotion, bhakti. So Dhruv Maharaj, he does that. Then in the next stage of the descent, the Saptarishis, just below Dhruvaloka is the Loka of the Saptarishis, it says. Below the realm of Dhruva, where the 7 stars of the Ursa Major are located, Saptarishi Mandal, what we call. They know the greatness of this holy stream. They receive and sprinkle it with great reverence even to the present day on the tuft of their matted locks. So, this chapter of Bhagavatam says that Gangaji is in the matted locks of all the 7 rishis, not only in the matted locks of Lord Shiva. She is there in the matted locks of the 7 rishis also. In the same way as the seekers of liberation would hail infinite beatitude coming to them, accounting it the supreme reward of their austerities. So they consider it as a prasad of Bhagavan and they are seeking mukti, and then Bhagavan's prasad it is, Gangaji has come, and they hold it on in their jata. They have anyway renounced the whole world. So having spurned all other objects of human pursuit, including self-realization, simply due to their having achieved the boon of unceasing devotion to Vasudeva. So even they don't want mukti, they have ananya bhakti towards Bhagavan Vasudeva, and from his foot till Gangaji is flowing, so they hold it in their jata, meaning they consider it as the supreme. Now from there, descending thence through the heavens, passage of gods, crowded with many billions of aerial cars, the stream washes the lunar sphere and comes down to the city of Brahma on the summit of Mount Meru. So this is the flow of Gangaji. Branching forth into four streams there, the Bhagavat Padi flows in four directions under four different appellations: Sita, Alaknanda, Chakshu and Bhadra, and finally enters the ocean. Now see this, I'm just sharing one image here. This is the flow of Gangaji. So causal ocean to Dhruvaloka to Saptarishis planets to the moon, from there to Sumeru, and from there into four branches. This is the path of Gangaji. Those four things that you saw, no, those are the four aspects. You see on this, these four, no? So these four, so that's what they have shown here, river Ganga. So these four sides, these four flow, four direction, this flows. That is the Gangaji. And so those are the names given here: Sita, Alaknanda, Chakshu and Bhadra. And finally enters the ocean. So coming down nurtures the Ilavrata Varsha, etc., and then merges back into the ocean. Just a minute. So Gangaji comes down. Now when she comes down onto the Meru, divides herself into these four, then what happens? So four branches when they divide. So Sita, Brahmapuri to the peak of Kesarachal mountain, to the peak of Mount Gandhamadhan, to Bhadrashva and to salt water. That's the flow. So it said from the top it falls, goes in four directions, four names, and then goes into the ocean. So how it goes into the ocean, that description is here. Then Chakshu is on the west side. So Brahmapuri, so it all flows into Brahmapuri, and then from there four, right? So everywhere the source will be Brahmapuri. Brahmapuri is that thing in the center of the top of the Mount Meru. So Brahmapuri to peak of Kesarachal mountain, peak of Mount Malyavan, Ketumal Varsha, saltwater ocean. Then Bhadra on the north, Brahmapuri to peak of Kesarachal mountain, peak of Mount Nila, Mount Shweta, Mount Shringavan, Kuruvarsha, saltwater ocean. And Alaknanda is Brahmapuri, peak of Kesarachal mountain, peak of Mount Nishadha, Mount Hemakuta, Himalaya, Bharatvarsha, saltwater ocean. So this is Alaknanda. Now, what is the benefit of this? So persons who come to bathe in this river are fortunate. They easily achieve with every step the result of performing great sacrifices like the Rajasuya and the Ashwamedha Yajna. Many other rivers, both big and small, flow to the various tracts of land in hundreds of branches, They are like daughters of Sumeru and other mountains. Now comes the description of the Bharatvarsha. So the 9 Varshas of Jambudvipa which are there, in that they say that Bharatvarsha is the field of, is the Karma Kshetra. Even Devatas, etc., they take a lot of, they feel envious of people who are in Bharatvarsha, it is said. And so, for pious people, the other 8 Varshas are known as heaven on earth, Bhauma Swarga, and are meant for highly elevated pious persons who enjoy their punya after leaving the heavenly planets. So there are supposed to be 3 heavenly places. So Divya Swarga is the Swarga Loka. Then Bhauma Swarga is the enjoyments on this earth. And the subterranean, the Swarga down also. That is Bila Swarga. Oh, seeker of liberation is not interested in any of these 3. But there are other people who may want, and according to their karma. So certain people enjoy punya karma in certain loka outside, which is in the Swarga Loka, as a different loka. It's a subtler plane of consciousness. Some based on their punya will enjoy on this earth, and that's what they call. In the other 8 Varshas, people are more enjoyment oriented. That's the bhav there. Here on Bharatvarsha, they are more devotion oriented, tapasya and all that. Not that there are not no people here who want to enjoy. Even here there are. But again, I'm saying we are talking of a different yuga. People spending more time in sadhana, tapasya, seva, bhakti, shraddha, dhyan. That is Bharatvarsha. So here he says that this is the karma kshetra. If somebody wants to speed up the evolution, one is born here in Bharatvarsha. And there are so many people even today who come or not from different parts of the world seeking spiritual knowledge. Many come to Bharatvarsha even today. And so he says here that Bharatvarsha is a karma kshetra, and the other 8 varshas are known as heaven on earth. There is a Bhauma Swarga, more of facilities, enjoyments, all that is available. Now in these 8 varshas, the human beings are like demigods and live for 10,000 years. They have bodies sturdy as thunderbolts, strong as 10,000 elephants. In the youth, they enjoy carnal union with for a long time, and the women conceive only once in the last year of their lives. Their happiness is like that of Treta Yuga. These varshas are filled with many gardens with flowers, fruits, hermitage, great mountains, lakes of clear water, swans, ducks, cranes, bumblebees, water chickens, etc. The chief demigods are there, always attended by their respective servants, and enjoy life with their wives, who smile playfully and look upon them with lusty desires. The idea is those 8 varshas are having more of enjoyment. Now, to show mercy on his devotees in each of these 9 varshas, the Lord Narayana expands himself in various forms and remains near his devotees to accept their service. So now each varsha they have given. Ilavrata Varsha, the main deity is Lord Shiva, presiding deity Sankarshana. Bhadrashva Varsha, main deity is Bhadrashva, presiding deity is Hayashirsa or Hayagriva. Harivarsha, main inhabitant is Prahlada, presiding deity is Narasimha. Ketumala Varsha, main inhabitants Lakshmi, Prajapati, Samvatsara and his children. Presiding deity Kamdev or Pradyumna. Ramyaka Vaivasvata Manu is the key inhabitant, and Matsya is the presiding deity. Hiranmaya, Aryama is the key inhabitant, and Kurma is the presiding deity. Kuru is key inhabitant is earth, and Varaha is the presiding deity. Kim Purusha Varsha is Hanuman is the key inhabitant, and Ram is the presiding deity. Bharata, Narad Muni is the key inhabitant, and Nar Narayan are the presiding deity. And that's why Badrinath so famous, popular. Nar Narayan Rishi even today doing tapasya there. So now this has been given, and this whole description has come. of these 9 varshas. And now specifically will come this prayer to Lord Shankarshana by Shivji, because Shivji is in the Ilavrata Varsha, is the key inhabitant. That we will take up in our next class. So this certain portions of Bhagavatam will appear little challenging to us, but we have to take the essence and learn what we can from this. So for today I will stop here. Any questions?
मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की, मंगल प्रीति रीति धूम की, मंगल कांति हसनी दसनन की, मंगल मुरली दीना धुन की, मंगल आरती। मंगल बणिक त्रिभंगी हरि की, मंगल सेवा सब सहचर की, मंगल सिर चंद्रिका मुकुट की, मंगल छवि नयन में अटकी, मंगल आरती। पभी अंग अंग की, मंगल गौर श्याम रंग की, मंगल अति कटि पियरे पट की, मंगल चितमणि नागर नट की, मंगल आरती। मंगल शोभा कमल नयन की, मंगल माधुरी मृदुल पैन की, मंगल वृंदावन मद अटकी, मंगल क्रीडन जमुना तट की, मंगल आरती। मंगल चरण अरुण तरुवन की, मंगल करणी भगति हरिजन की, मंगल जुगल प्रिया बावन की, मंगल श्री राधा जीवन की, मंगल आरती प्रिया प्रीतम की, मंगल प्रीति रीति गोविंद की, मंगल आरती। मंगल आरती। राधावर कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्र तारकम्, नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतो यम् अग्निः, तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं, तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की।
ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।